Are we still looking at Bitcoin continuing to rise up, or is this going to be one of those situations where we head down to dump town? This is a really critical time in the market, and what we've actually seen coming off the back of this ascending triangle, which has failed, we've actually moved to the downside, is that Bitcoin has kind of shown itself that it wants to trade sideways for a little bit longer, which, to me is absolutely fine. I was talking to you guys about how, this could start looking a little bit heavy, but I don't necessarily think we're there yet, and one of the key reasons for that is our key support indicators. Our 1 hour Ichimoku cloud isn't even close to the current price at the moment, which means that, we certainly could at the very least trade sideways for a bit longer or even dip down until we find support for the first time with this indicator, which really to me is an indication that we've got a little bit more time. Now, if we go a little bit more aggressive onto the EMA ribbon, we failed it, but to me that's completely okay, because again, this is a 1 hour time frame. If we zoom out a little bit further to the 4 hour time frame, again, same picture. We still haven't even met our support areas yet. So to me, this is a really good called for bit of consolidation. When we start to see that, for example, we're failing the 4 hour EMA ribbon, right? When it starts to look a little bit like this, we're losing the spread. The spread is like this. You can clearly see each line. Over here, it's a little bit less clear. When we start losing that spread and a couple other bits like that, that's when you can start to expect that, we're getting a bit too comfortable at this level and perhaps we have to dump a little bit lower. But right now the spread is huge. Bitcoin can drop down quite low and it would still be good. And actually we can see that really clearly with the daily Ichimoku cloud, because it's actually started to develop at a very, very critical area. It's actually a chart that I've shown you guys, I think in just the previous video. Yeah, right here. I was talking to you guys about this level, smack bang at the $30,000 level. If we go from our low down up to our high and we look at the Fibonacci retracement, this does put our 618 level at exactly where our daily Ichimoku cloud is starting to form, which is really good news, because what it means is that on these larger time frames we can tumble lower right into the end of November, beginning of December, and we're still probably going to have a good amount of support over here, which means that we're solid on the long term, but then on the short term, the mid term, depending on what you want to call it, we're also solid here. I mean, look at our support. It's like exactly where we were previously finding tons and tons and tons of resistance. I mean, all the way back to mid 2022, and then throughout the course of 2023 as well. This has been a critical area for the market as resistance, and it is exactly where our support lines up on this shorter time frame. And then we dive in even closer, and again, we haven't even hit this area of support yet. So when we see these kind of formations showing up in the market, one thing that tells us extremely clearly is that we've got time, we've got the ability to correct lower, and things are still probably going to be okay, just given where the market is. So I think that from that perspective, we are looking pretty golden. Now, one of the things that gets exciting from here is that the more we consolidate, typically, the more we can expect the market to rise up the next time. And that's one of the key reasons that we saw such a big breakout in the first place. Again, those of you that have been smashing up those likes, staying subscribed to this YouTube channel, getting the bell icon checked so that you stay up to date with all of this content, because it is super time sensitive. You're all going to know that when we are forming these longer periods of consolidation, that is actually what gives us the ability to get the very, very big breakouts. You see, when we don't get long periods of consolidation, that does limit how high we can actually move, and I'm very happy to tell you guys that factor probably isn't in play over here, because we've had a really nice long period of consolidation. So now, we look at this on the daily chart, it's very clear. It's been more or less a straight run, and actually one thing that's really interesting is if we do look at this daily candle, which by the way, we do still have 4.5 hours left until it completes, so, it could still change, but I think more or less much of the, obviously most of the trading for today has already taken place, so I don't know. I'm not going to say that we're going to close here, but look, let's be honest, it's kind of likely that that's going to happen. And one thing that we can see is, this has been a fairly sizable down day for Bitcoin. From its high to its low, we're down by 3%. From candle open to close right now, we're down by 1.5%. And we haven't seen a candle this big in terms of red price action basically since here, which was an entire 2 weeks ago. And that's kind of surprising to think about. We haven't actually seen such a red candle for 2 weeks now, especially considering the kind of market that Bitcoin has been in. And I think that's one very clear indication that some sort of pullback would be very much warranted here. And the 𝗬𝗙's dashboard has confirmed that for us. We've been looking at this quite a bit over the last couple of days again. And if we take a look at the fear and greed index right here, we're still sitting very high at a reading of 71. So, we're clearly quite bullish right now in terms of sentiment. We've been watching the fear and greed index with the actual chart over here as well. And if we go ahead and refresh this page to get the most up-to-date information over here, and we take a look at this on the monthly, just going back for the past month, one thing that's very clear is we were kind of stable around the mid, just the neutral areas, the high 40s, low 50s. Now we're in firm greed territory. So, and again, one of the other things that I made very clear to you guys is that the last time we had a reading this high was back in November of 2021. Again, you're going to know all about this if you watch one of our recent YouTube videos here. And the last time, I mean, this was November 2021. This was the all-time high for Bitcoin. So sentiment-wise, very, very stretched out. In terms of long and short ratio, the way traders are actually moving, we're actually majority short on retail traders, and top traders are still majority long. So I've been majority long on this market for fucking ages. You guys have seen how that's gone for me, which is to say absolutely fucking spectacularly. You already know the deal, ladies and gents. So I'm super happy with that performance. That is exactly what I want to be seeing. When we've got the retail traders flip-flopping like a bunch of fucking idiots and the top traders staying, solid in their long positions, that's a good position to be in. And one of the key reasons that I really like this approach, especially right now, is that and actually, one of the reasons I didn't take much profit, I actually took profit live on video with you guys a couple of days ago, and you already know the deal. I did, of course, do that on Bybit, which is linked in the description down below. It's the first link down here. Obviously, this is the place to be as a trader. You're getting up to $30,000 in completely free trading capital just when you start trading using my link. If it hasn't hit your account yet, just give it a couple of days, and it will arrive. And that is free trading capital that you can use. So super, super cool. Obviously, this exchange and all the others in the description are not available all around the world, so you got to check if your country allows them, but if it is legal, then definitely do check it out. You're also going to be getting my free trading package here. It's not free, it's actually paid, but you're going to get it for free just if you trade on Bybit using my links. So definitely go ahead and check that out. But it's like I said, one of the key issues with this range, if you're already in a position, is that you want to take some profits. Obviously, you're in a really, really nice profit, but then the problem is you can't really re-enter. What you don't want to do, especially if you're already in a position, is find yourself wondering, shit, okay, I've taken profits, I've closed my position, but what do I do now? Because, there's no clear trade in the market right now. I think a lot of the people that have been trading just over these last couple of days, I don't really know what you could have done because the price didn't really move, but it's quite dangerous to be kind of trading up here, in my opinion, because what you've got is hopefully a correction incoming, and that would obviously be best, right? I mean, if we kind of move down here and then come back up, but we don't really know if that's going to happen. The market is very strong right now, so and we've seen why. I mean, the dollar has been doing whatever the dollar has been doing, and Bitcoin has been unfazed. When the dollar has been moving down, the Bitcoin has been moving up. When the dollar has been moving up, Bitcoin has been moving up. So Bitcoin's definitely in a very, very strong position right now, even compared to indices like the S&P 500. I mean, look at this. We've finally dropped down to our key areas of support right here, which, by the way, this index is going to stop trading within the hour. So again, this is perhaps more or less where it's going to stop here. I mean, if the S&P 500 loses this level, it's lights out until the next level as far as I see. But we'll come back to this in just a minute. Make sure you smash up the likes if you are excited for that. But what I am seeing here, is that if you do try to trade the upside, then you're basically going long right into resistance, which is stupid. And if you try and trade the short side, then you're standing in front of a train, which, really makes it kind of difficult. And that's why, I wasn't super keen on taking too much profits. Obviously, like I said, I did, and I did that on video with you guys, but, it's not something that I would want to do too much of, purely because, if we're not if we're not in a range where it's super easy to kind of see where I could re-enter, then that's going to become a little bit more dangerous for me. So that is definitely something I'm keeping an eye out for. Like I said, I'm looking for those bounces down at these levels. I mean, we've got really, really solid old resistance here, which hopefully will turn into new support. So hopefully we kind of come down here, catch a little bit of support, and then continue to move up. Obviously, the risk of a deviation is still very possible, perhaps down to levels like here, even down to 28K. Don't be closed off to these ideas. We could do something like this, trade sideways for a little bit, and then a quick spike down, and then we're back up. This is very, very typical price action for Bitcoin. Everybody that's been going long, perhaps over here, because this is quite an obvious long place, you're going to get stopped out, and then the market is going to rally higher. You already know the deal. A lot of people are making jokes like, I know why $35,000 was the top. It's because I bought over there. This is an actual comment that I read on the YouTube channel a few days ago, and it's funny, but it's 100% true. This is actually how the market works, and I was that guy for a really long time, so I can definitely understand it. And these are the kind of things that we don't want to fall victim to. These are the kind of things that we want to make sure that we're actually protecting ourselves from, which of course we can do through the use of really, really good analysis. So this is something that I'm definitely liking the look of. I think that it puts Bitcoin in a strong position so far. If we end up trading sideways for a little bit longer, then basically what we're going to end up doing is hopefully continuing to form this where's my tool right here, this really nice kind of parallel channel that Bitcoin might be trying to trade in. And again, when we kind of move up into these patterns and then trade sideways, again, you already know the deal. We've got two forms of correction. Number one is a price-based correction, corrections. That just means the market drops. Number 2 is a time-based correction. And, a lot of the time we kind of combine the two. Right now, we're only doing the time-based correction. And what that would mean is purely that, we're just trading sideways. We're just correcting through time. It becomes frustrating for people. This is the kind of thing that can dwindle down the fear and greed index, which happened a little bit, but obviously people are still quite bullish. So, this might take a little bit more. And it might very well be the case that these people going short are going to make a little bit of money, but again, I think that, retail traders don't typically do particularly well. And that is one of the reasons that I'm still open to the upside. It's why this is kind of like a range of ambiguity. What I can say for sure is that, now that we've kind of proven that, Bitcoin does want to trade sideways a little bit more than continuing the trend, we are starting to develop some pretty clear ranges for potential trade setups. Basically the top of this pattern, let me just change the colors here because I don't think that this is super clear. We're going to use a little bit of blue this time. We haven't used blue for a while. And so basically the bottom of this range 33.6 up to the top of this range 34.8, 34.9. These are a good set of ranges to potentially pick up some day trades. Not to say that I would do this. I think this is way too risky, but kind of long on the bottom, short on the top kind of thing. You've got a nice little range here. It's about 3.5%. I mean, when you've got free money that these exchanges are fucking throwing at you, then why not, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's the kind of trade I would take. Certainly not something that I would be jumping at. It's just too short of a time frame for me personally to trade. But again, if I had this free money, which I don't have unfortunately because I've already got my accounts on these exchanges, then I would certainly be chucking these in directions like this because they're good healthy trades to be taking ultimately overall. I mean, these are better than most trade setups that people look for. Nice little 3.5% range. Slap a bit of 10x leverage on there. Stop loss probably below these wicks. So this would be a 27% stop loss minus 2.7%. And actually no, it would be less than that. It would be about 22%. So pretty decent risk to reward. I mean, you're risking like $1 for every $1.50 that you could make roughly. I mean, my math isn't great on that. We can actually calculate this and see what that would actually look like because I'm curious because this is the kind of trade setup that definitely is feasible, I think, in a market condition like this. So, we've got a 1.64 risk to reward. It's not amazing. You want to go for like 3 and above ideally, but when you're day trading, you just kind of take what you get. So this is something that I think is definitely interesting. And the altcoins are also looking interesting. We're finally starting to see a little bit more red. Obviously, my little baby Tron over here is still doing absolutely fantastic. I'm still very close to 200% profit on that position. I have considered closing it, but I do think I'm going to make some more money on it. Ethereum against Bitcoin, just ranging now. And I think this is what the markets are doing is they're just kind of correcting. There have been a lot of big movements in the market recently. And, we can see this with Bitcoin's dominance. I mean, we were moving up very, 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 very aggressively, but now we're just kind of sideways. So things are cooling off. And what that means is that we're getting ready for the next move. This is the kind of time where people that have been like looking for the next trade, that have been looking to kind of see where they could position their capital. This is the kind of time where if you stop paying attention now, then good luck to you, bro. That's really not where you want to be. Let me just see if I can change the colors here because, I want to make this nice and blue here. And so this is the kind of trade setup that I think could end up being interesting. For me, though, like I said, it's a little bit too risky. I'm looking to see if Bitcoin can move down, start lining up with some of these, really nice Fibonacci levels with some of the existing indicators that we've got, providing a little bit of support. But really, until that happens, I think that we are kind of in a bit of a no man's land, a bit of a, DMZ, demilitarized zone. Not DMZ, because obviously we speak the King's English, and and so that's looking good. I do want to take your eyes over to the S&P 500 and talk about this. I think that this is actually going to start looking hopefully pretty bullish from here. I mean, it's seen a steep drop. I mean, this is the biggest drop that the S&P 500 has experienced now since it kicked off this bull run. If we actually, from this low right here, if we actually measure the corrections that the S&P 500 had, the first major correction was here. This was an 8% drop. Again, over here, we saw something similar, about a 9% drop from this high to the current low. This is a 10% drop now, so it's still not like massive, but it is going to be bigger than some of the drops that we saw previously, and it's also taking place across a long period of time. I mean, the S&P 500 more or less bottoming has been in a weak position for 91 days now compared to some of these other bits of price action we saw here before. That's a 40-day correction. Over here, that's a 21-day correction. So this is definitely a longer term correction. It's definitely a steeper correction, and all of that is due because we more or less had a straight rally with no price-based correction, only a time-based correction here. More or less had a straight rally right from this low to the top for 135 days. So that's pushing 4 months here. Very long time, actually more than 4 months, pushing 5 months here. definitely a clear indication that, some sort of bigger pullback was due. And this was an idea that we were toying around with, but the good news now is that we have fallen down to this really useful area of support. If we take a look at this on the 1 hour time frame, we can see that this was a level where just the first time the S&P 500 ever met this level, we got some key consolidation, some key support hits, a little bit of resistance. Moving forward, we had even more support, we had even more resistance, more consolidation, more resistance, and now we are potentially starting to find a little bit of support in this range. I might have to cheat a little bit and bring this box a little bit lower just to cover some more of the price range, but it really doesn't matter. The overall point is that we are kind of in a support zone right now. If there's anywhere that we're going to be expecting a bounce, then it's probably about around here. It's probably going to depend a little bit on the news that we're seeing with the S&P 500, why exactly it is dropping down. But to be honest, it is looking pretty good. I mean, we put the same long short ratio tool on this. And, for me, I'd probably be looking at a stop loss somewhere around here at about kind of 4,100. This is below a lot of the key price action here. Still not super safe. I mean, this would be even safer, just a little bit lower, 2.5%. And the upside on this is really good. I mean, the next key resistance for the S&P 500 is going to be about 4.5% higher. So already we've got a 1.8 risk to reward ratio. But if I do stretch this up to a more aggressive trade, with a stop loss over here, this is still a 3.5 risk to reward ratio. So this is actually a really nice trade setup, much better than what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. And of course, this market is actually tradable on BingX. If we go ahead and take a look at BingX with this link in the description down below, I really hope it works, because I don't know why, but for some reason it just doesn't display these markets that you can trade sometimes. This is actually the sign up page. Let me go back here. Look at that. You're getting over $100,000 in bonuses. Just absolutely crazy, ladies and gents. Super, super cool. If we do head on over to the markets, you can see, I don't know if this is going to show on my screen. Yeah, it will. That we have got, where is it? Yeah, not showing. I've got to go to the actual markets tab here, I think. I'm not logged in, so I can't actually. Yeah, here we go. SPX. Is it going to show up? No, it's not going to show up. I don't know why you make me look like a fucking idiot, BingX. Stop doing this shit. Yeah, we'll see it here. I want to actually show you this, because it happens quite regularly that I try and show you this and it just doesn't show up, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's awkward. Look at that. I can't make it work. We're in this. Oh, we're in the spot. That's why. One sec. Right here, derivatives, and this should be it. I'm gonna show it to you today. I don't care. You're patient with me today. Do we have it here? No. Okay. Maybe not. Yeah, I just can't seem to bring it up. It's there when you log in. It's just not here when Sammy wants to show it to you for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, go check it out. It's there. It's the main reason that I like them, and it's where I'd be looking to make this trade. When I end up making the trade and I'm in a profit, you'll see it, and that will be the case done with. So that's something which I'm definitely interested in looking at, because it's a nice little risk to reward ratio trade here. Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market just doesn't look super tradable to me right now, but the S&P 500 is at a crucial reversal zone. So these kind of reversal zones are where you have the most potential to make money. So this is the kind of thing that does look interesting to me. I do want to take a quick look at some of the key altcoins that I like to pay attention to. 𝗢𝗢𝗢 has just skyrocketed higher. It's definitely going to be reaching some important zones relatively soon. A big rally like this can't last forever, and I think if Bitcoin does end up correcting, the good thing about 𝗢𝗢𝗢 right here is that it doesn't really have any clear range between this green box and this green box down here. So I think it's quite fair to say that we could just kind of tumble right back down over here, which would make for a really nice short down to this level. That's a 30% move from the high, and down from where we are right now, it's still nearly a 30% move. And even better than that, if you believe that this market is going to be bullish, then you might be expecting a support bounce around here, whether it's at the yellow line over here or the green box over here. And again, we'd just be targeting the same high. So this is like a 50% move to the upside. Again, leverage, I would probably be looking at much lower leverage for this kind of coin, because it's just so crazy. But even a 5x kind of leverage trade off this level is a 250% profit. So that is super cool. Obviously, that is going to be tradable on Bybit for you guys as well. And on CoinW, again, you get that $50 bonus for free. So that's just free trading capital that they give you right when you open a futures account. That's going to come 24 hours after you open your futures account using my link down below. So you do have to wait one day, and you will get emailed when it's in your account. So definitely do check that out. That's free money. Again, do whatever you like with it. Any profits that you generate are yours to keep. So that is super, super cool. But for that, I am going to be heading off on this YouTube video here. A nice little quick one, guys. Like I said, if there's not a whole lot going on We don't need to read into it. Go live your life. Go walk your fucking dog. Do whatever you like. Don't stress yourself out about these markets. We've got our levels defined. We know what to look for. If we break higher, we know where our next areas of resistance are. We've already been covering that on this YouTube channel in most of our recent videos as well. Are we moving down right now as I speak? I don't think so. No, we're not. The next key resistance levels that I'm seeing are going to be more or less just anywhere in this box, but specifically the $38,000 level represented by this green line, 37.5, same thing. These are going to be, if Bitcoin does pop, probably where I'd expect Bitcoin to face some challenges, maybe retrace and then continue on higher. So that's what we're looking for. Right now we're sideways, not a whole lot we can do. I'm going to be watching to see how this consolidation moves, and if we start to see that this consolidation continues to look healthy, then, this might actually be a nice level to look for some longs. It would be fairly risky, but like I said, again, I mean, the risk to reward isn't that bad. So, it's definitely still something that might be worth considering. I'm just going to have to watch this to see if I feel safe in that kind of trade. Obviously keeping in mind what's going on with the dollar as well. I mean, the fact that Bitcoin has been responding so well, regardless of where the dollar is a really, really good sign that's making me optimistic. And especially, like I said, if we do start seeing the dollar dropping, that's where I think even more strength could come in for Bitcoin. It does look right now look pretty strong. It looks like it could be doing something a little bit like this. So, we'll see how this goes. I was telling you that, usually when you do this, you do end up kind of rolling lower, but that didn't end up happening on this occasion. So we're just going to continue to watch this and see how this plays out, if it moves up or down. If it does start moving up, it's got a big leg up next. So, this is going to get pretty strong for the dollar. Obviously, what this means is that really just the other real world currencies, are going to be getting weaker. For example, GBP against the dollar has been declining, so that's obviously going to be a result of the dollar getting a little bit stronger. We're seeing the dollar and euro going down to parity as well. So these are a couple things to be keeping an eye on. They do affect the crypto markets, not super directly, but the effect is definitely still there. So we're going to be keeping an eye on this. You're already subscribed, so you don't need to worry about it. I'll be right here when the market does give us something interesting. While we're waiting for that, go ahead and check out these bonuses if you haven't already taken advantage of them. They are super, super valuable. You're going to get up to 50% off on VIP as well by following these steps on screen right here. And obviously with the exchanges, like I said, you got to make sure that you're allowed to use them because you're going to be IP blocked anyway, so don't waste your time. With that, guys, really hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. Head up the likes, subscribe, click the bell, and I'm going to go fucking rage at BingX for not showing those markets and only showing it when we log out. I'm sorry, when we log in. But yeah, whatever. We'll sort that out. All right, guys, take it easy. Cheers.